My government refused to allow me access to my legal rights because they, politicians and their political parties, receive financial profits from criminally denying me access to my legal rights, which makes them the ultimate human parasite. Evidently, Australian lawyers, solicitors and barristers are happy to take bribes from Australian governments not to sue them than they are to uphold law and sue the governments for these massive breaches of my common law rights and my other legal rights under criminal and health services law, and even my basic human rights. The same can be said for news media outlets in Australia who refuse to publish any of these current Australian government human rights atrocities. My name is Jeanette Gale Francis. I discovered these depravities in Australian government when I was a local government elected politician in Wallandilly Shire from 1995 to 1999. The depth of their depravity, the Australian officials, would amaze any reasonable person, from ear, nose, throat specialist Paul Varley, who said vision of the illegal implant cable in my nose seen in CT video was probably evidence of my nose having been broken in the past, despite that it's never been broken. To the criminally anonymous police person who contacted the Department of Transport to have my mental health assessed after I made an official complaint to police about being criminally medically assaulted with illegal implants. GP Alison Barbara Jane Cole falsified her medical report to government on 16th of March 2018, stating I was unfit to drive due to mental illness, and they all refused to look at any of my evidence that irrefutably corroborates my claims that I was criminally physically assaulted in the 1990s on political grounds. If I'd stated all of the above without any evidence at any time, I'd be probably dismissed as being totally insane. But however, all the evidence is on my website, JeanetteFrancis.com. Australian state and federal government public officers ignore that evidence to allow me to be falsely categorised as severely mentally ill based solely on my public complaints about the crimes they've inflicted upon me without legal excuse since the 1990s. It's not a conspiracy theory when it's proven by fact. It's a conspiracy fact. In this website is irrefutable proof that in Australia we have two governing political parties whose members continue to feed money into their party to maintain secreted militant strength against their own citizens, arbitrarily, secretly maiming and killing selected dissidents to maintain the farce of democracy. You have to be brain dead not to see the obvious. There's no long-term member of a governing political party in the history of Australia who could be honestly considered as honourable. If they were, they'd have not allowed the festering of the criminal practices we see in government every day, or resigned from their party in their first term. The problem is the political parties squeeze the criminals out like pus and you fix the problem of the country. 21st of February 2018 criminal break and enter at my residence during state election time was deemed by the new Liberal Party Housing Minister and Police Minister as illegal action, despite that there was no legal authority and no prior appointment with me for housing staff to visit my residence with mental health staff and jump my lock fence in a criminal action clearly calculated to threaten and intimidate me as a future witness to a court hearing. Clearly my security video proves they'd pre-arranged their illegal trespass with each other. Evidently, because I'd been forced into public housing by criminal political theft of my New South Wales Torrens title in the 1990s, then illegally forced into bankruptcy at the end of the 1990s and illegally forced to pay for my de facto loans connected to the theft of my real estate, was all sanctioned by the federal Australian government. South Australian housing public officers believe they have the legal right to force social visits on me by falsely inferring they have that legal right to make appointments for social visits and bring state mental health staff into my housing rental residence pursuant to the Residential Tenancy Act 1995 in South Australia, which is total bullshit. Evidently, government public officers want to ensure that I have no privacy, no sentry, no security, even in my own residence, which was probably the ultimate aim of the theft of my real estate in the 1990s.